What's going on, guys? Let's see if you guys can hear me. Let's double check everything's working okay. All right. It's good to be back. Let's see. All right. Looks like we're live. Very nice. Very nice. Get everything popped up here. Again, just checking. If you guys can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me okay? That's the biggest thing. So we got quite a few questions to go through here today. You guys wondering where I've been at? I've been in Ireland for about 2 weeks, and then I was in London for about another half week there. So that's where I've been. So sorry, I've kind of abandoned you a little bit there, but it was a trip that I was very excited to take. Ireland's a beautiful country. We rented a car and we explored the whole island, which is it's the dream come true, right? Castles everywhere, beautiful, beautiful coastline. My favorite parts were well, they're all pretty great. You know, Dublin was awesome. Galway was cool. I probably had a little bit more liking to like Dingle and Slayhead Drive. So like you drive around the whole peninsula. It's super cool, and the coast there is incredible. And then Killarney, which one of their national parks is. Just because I'm a nature guy, so that was beautiful. All the pubs didn't hurt either. Pretty much, it felt like half their economy was based on pubs and Guinness, which I was not mad about. But anyways, guys, let's hop into the Q&A questions here. And yeah, just double check here. Everything's still working. Um, Everything's fine. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's dig into here. We'll start with the most recent one of late. Let's make sure you guys, yep, cool. We'll start with Marco here. Hey, Cameron, I'm looking to sell on Amazon UK, so you mentioned you need around $5,000 for your first product launch. Over what period would that amount be required? I can put around 2,500 immediately with another 2,500 over a course of 2 or 3 months. Please consider this question within the context that I would be happy to make only 500,000 a month for a few months. Thanks for your effort you put into your content. Yeah, so you should be fine there. So yeah, you're getting your LLC started, you're getting your Seller Central account started, you're getting your first product research software that I recommend. It's kind of hard not to get out of there. You'll be at such a disadvantage if you don't have it. So I think you'll be just fine here. This is perfect. So 2,500 immediately, just get things going, and then you'll probably have enough for your first down payment, right? So when you start with the manufacturer, you're just putting down 30%, maybe 50% at max, for them to start the order. And then once the order's done in like say 3 weeks or a month or whatever it may be, you pay the remaining 70%, which it sounds like, after, product research will take a while, Seller Central stuff will take a while, getting your business set up will take a while. This other $2,500 will come into play, and that's when you really need it. So it sounds like you're just fine there. 5,000 is great to start. 500 to 1,000 a month. I think that's totally doable. And you might have to reinvest, what you make first back into the business, into more products until you start taking money out. But that's most people are in that situation anyways. Shaham, sure. Hello, Cameron. I love watching your videos, bro. Thank you. They are very helpful. Love to hear it. My question is, once I find a product that has low reviews, more demand, how do I validate the product? In other words, how would I know if my product will sell? That's the $1,000,000 question, right? That's the question. If there's a software that figured this out for us, if there was, whatever it may be, then we'd all be millionaires. So this is the $1,000,000 question. Excuse me. So how I validate this product is it's really tough when you first begin. So there's certain metrics you can look at, but there's so many variables that we're just trying to check off like 7 out of 10. Some of those variables might be, is it easily shipped? Is it smaller? Again, those things, that's why I hate saying these variables, because you put yourself in a box when you think about these variables. And, it's really tough it doesn't have to be non-breakable. It doesn't have to be small. Like it could be a bigger product. That could be why it's such a good opportunity, is because it's a big product and no one else is selling it. So it's really tough to say this. I would say more or less, make sure the product, you have a unique positioning into that market. You have a unique angle into that market, and you can take advantage of that. And you can double check this by, going to Helium 10, whether it's Cerebro or the keyword research tool, which I believe is called Magnet. And you can see if there's little long tail keywords inside a niche that's hasn't been taken advantage of yet. So you're like, okay, I know this long tail phrase has 1,000 searches, and there's like nobody in there with the title that even says this, and no one's making this product for just women. And so if I make this product just for women in a design that they like, and I put this in the front, part of my title and I make the product more specific for them and they'll actually like it, then I can dominate this in this niche of 1,000 searches per month. And that's your start. That's your angle to the market. Because if you go right for the big keywords right away, you get yourself into trouble because, maybe you don't have enough inventory, maybe you don't have enough skills yet. But the best way to do this also is to have a mentor, someone to check your product ideas. And no, it doesn't have to be me. It could be someone you trust that's done this before and can tell you about the red flags inside the business, because that's the problem. You don't have experience until you have experience. Like that's the ultimatum, or the catch-22, whatever you want to call it, is how do you know a product works when you never sold a product on Amazon before? Like that's how I had to learn the hard way of failing. Like I failed 3 times, and you probably say I failed even more times if we counted little products I tested here and there. So, I lost a lot of money to figure this out. Well, how do you avoid that? You talk to someone who's wasted money figuring this out, right? It's a weird thing. It's like, how do you know what a good product is until you've experimented and sold products? Well, to sell that first product, you're probably going to fail and you're going to lose money. So it's just this weird phenomenon where if you get help, great, or you start learning a crap ton about marketing and e-commerce. But when you first start, you're probably gonna have to put yourself in the weeds a little bit. That's why I recommend starting out a little bit more on the lower side. Don't put in 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 your first product. No, put in as little as you can into a low risk product. And that way you can try over and over and over again until you figure this process out. Then you can put that money in because now you understand how this works. Number 2, how do I check product needs and test reports or certificates before ordering bulk so I don't break any Amazon policies? I just type in Seller Central, your product, everything like that. And then also try to list that product beforehand, before you buy it. So list the product, get a UPC, and then Amazon will tell you exactly what you need to make sure that product can be listed. JC is Lord. Okay. Hi, Cameron. Still wondering when and how in the process you start photographing your product, since it goes straight to Amazon from manufacturer. You don't have physical access to it. So I actually have them take the first 2 off the line for me. It could be 1, it could be 2. I just do 2 just in case one gets damaged. Packaged up very, very nicely so it comes in pristine condition. Then I have them DHL express that to my photographer while they're making the other 500 or 300 or whatever it may be. That way when it, because you still got the DHL express, it could be into the photographer's hands in 5 days. And then say the products are done regardless. Well, you're probably doing sea shipping or air shipping. So it's going to be, 10 to 35 days where it takes to ship. But that whole time you're getting photography done, because it does take a couple weeks at least. So that's when I do it. Starry Eye, hi, I just subscribed to your channel. Very helpful stuff, so thanks so much. You're welcome. I'm selling on Amazon US, but don't understand how I can sell on Amazon markets without shipping to those markets. I'm selling on Amazon US, but I don't understand how I can sell on Amazon markets. You can go to settings and open up your global markets, and you could be, I'm forgetting the phrase or how they do it, but you can open it up to other markets. But the issue is those other markets have to pay customs to get your product in. So if you really want to dominate another market and do it the best way possible with the less friction, you will have to send to those other markets. But you can make it available in the Canadian, Mexico market very easily with just open up a global account essentially, or go to settings and go in there. I'm kind of blanking on where that's at, but if you mess around settings, you're going to find it. You can toggle it on and off there and open it up to global markets there. Again, someone in Canada buys a product from the US, they have to pay customs on that. So it's like double the price sometimes. And so it's like, okay, why would they just not buy the other one that you don't have to pay that, in the Canadian market? So if you want to sell in the other markets, like legitly, you have to get the products in there. How can I get my product seen in other markets, but continue to have it shipped from the US? Yeah, I just told you how to do that. So that's how you do that for sure. Leo Son, other than the W8, let's see if you guys can see that. Yep, you can still see this. Other than the W8 Ben form and the EIN, what else do Canadian sole proprietors need to do in order to avoid problems with taxes? Any more forms to be completed or steps being taken? I would talk to a CPA. I'm sorry, I'm kind of being vague on that, but I can't really give tax advice too much. I gotta be careful about that, especially when I'm doing like a live video. I have a good video on this. I'd go watch that. It goes through quite a bit of the procedures. I know Canada and US have a tax treaty. So there are some things you could take advantage of that, where you just make your Canadian corporation sole proprietor. Maybe you get a corporation and then everything's done in the Canadian side, but definitely talk to a CPA before you don't, I'm an idiot. Don't take any of my words for real when it comes to tax advice. Clifton Horton, hello, I just created my Amazon account. I would like to ask what process do you use to get a product and to get that product listed? So product research, that's a whole skill set you're gonna have to learn. I have so many videos on product research, it's absurd. You just type in Cameron James Amazon product research. I'd go through. That's a good start. You're going to need a software. I would definitely recommend that, just because you're looking through a catalog of millions and millions of products. It's nice to have something to use to sort through those and to get that product listed. So listing a product's pretty simple too. I got a video on that. So we just add a product, add a new product, get a UPC, make a title, everything like that. There's some restraints here and there you might have to follow depending on the product type, but it's all stuff we have to deal with anyways. Let's see, moving this up a little bit. Leo's son again. Hi, do I need an EIN? Canadian sole provider selling US marketplace, and where do I need input this EIN number into Amazon when basically need this number? You could just use your corporation number if you have this, but your sole proprietor, yes, maybe get an EIN. Actually, I don't know. So that's the problem. Like, this stuff is so all over the place. Like, I need to see the forms, and then I kind of know the best scenario. Yeah, do I need an EIN, Canadian sole proprietor selling US marketplace? No, you shouldn't. Just start an Amazon.ca account and put your personal information in. And then when it asks you if you want to have access to the US and Mexico marketplace, select yes, or the whole North American marketplace. And then you're good to go. You don't need any of that stuff. Miss Malunga. All right. What if I move my face out? Oh, look at that. Fancy. Miss Malunga. Hey, Cameron, thank you for your work in education. So, yep, you guys can see that. Thank you for your working in education. Someone was selling on Amazon. In one of your videos selling on Amazon, you mentioned not to use a debit card as payment method. Only credit card is allowed. Yes. I have an LLC in the US and have a US bank account with a debit card, but now I'm stuck and get a credit card. I use the link you shared while I have to get a credit card, but really not that easy since I'm not a US citizen and don't have an SSN or an ITIN. If you could please touch on that topic, I really appreciate it. Well, it depends on the country you're in, but yeah, there are a lot of the bigger banks. Can't you go in there and get a credit card? If not, yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. Depends on the country. I would Google this. So like if you just Google in your country looking for a US credit card, how do you do that? I know Mercury potentially has a credit card now. I haven't checked on that for a little bit. Yeah, I'd talk to, you have a US bank. You're an LLC in the US and have a US bank account. You can call that bank and try as well, because you're a member there. So you're kind of going to the hard part. You can ask how you get a credit card. Then you can apply online. And the physical part, it sucks, because you get the card physically shipped to you, but maybe you can just go online and use the card numbers to enter that in, or have it shipped to someone in the US and shipped over to you. Yeah, this is one of the ones where just like, you got to go deep into it because it changes like every year. It's pretty crazy how much it changes, and again, depending on your country as well. All right, next one here. Move my face back down. So yeah, so what we're doing, just if you didn't know, we're doing the whole backlog of questions from when I was gone for vacation. Got lots of comments. Very cool. Glad you guys are here. It's good to see you guys again. Happy to be back. Okay, so Ryan here. Hey Cameron, thank you for wealth of knowledge you provide. When listing a product, it asks for brand name with a picture of the brand name on the product on packaging. How do I do this when the product is still being made? Have them make you a sample with all this made, or you can go to a local design shop and get the packaging made yourself real quick and have pictures and send it in there. Yes, it's tough because it's like, how do you get the pictures of a product when you don't have the product yet? You got to do what you have to do, whether that's getting a sample made exactly what they're branding on it already and taking pictures, have someone in the manufacturer take pictures, high quality photos and send them back to you. Or you can go to a design shop and get packaging made yourself just for that one time and to get by that whole thing right there. Also, how do I get professional pictures done for listing? I don't have a product yet. Can you also go to shipping logistics to use freight forwarders, FedEx, UPS? So I answered this the last one, but get the first ones off the line. DHL shipped them to your photographer while the rest of the products are getting made and shipped over. And then shipping logistics, I do use freight forwarders because, the first time I used it, I got manufacturers and I used their shipping. But, started to learn that you don't want to mix those interests and they can pretty much do whatever they want. Where a freight forwarder is independent of the manufacturer. And so there's less potential of there being inflated shipping prices because they want to. It's all done in one, right? I like the product to be one cost, and I like the shipping to be separate in its own thing too, so I can I could see things separately, and there's separate interest on both parties. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, FedEx, UPS, sometimes you can have your manufacturer do that if they have good rates, maybe for your first time. Again, it really depends there. And then we got Jason. Hey, Cameron, I'm new to Seller Central in Canada, BC, wanting to sell in US. The only problem is that shipping from Canada, BC to Amazon warehouse in US is extremely high to point it creates a negative margins. Any recommendations? Thank you in advance. So are you making these things in Canada? Um, so what the best thing to do is when you get it made, say you have a Chinese manufacturer, is you use a freight forwarder and you separate the shipments. One goes to Canada, so it goes through Canadian tariffs, and one goes through US, so US tariffs, and goes to the proper marketplace. That works very, very well. Now it sucks when you have these things in Canada and to go to the USA, which obviously you know all about. That's why you're asking this question. Now it really depends on. So what I would do personally, and there's been students of mine have dealt with this as well. What I do personally is I look for services and I get tons of quotes and I just go look for the best service, best service, best service. People who do this on a regular, there's got to be companies that do this and handle this all the time because it's Canada and USA. Like they're right next to each other and we have to share goods all the freaking time. So there has to be companies that just have got this figured out en masse. So this is where I would go in and get into the Google machine and go hard on that. I'm sorry I don't have a more direct answer, but yeah. I've looked this up before too. We've figured this out. I just can't remember. There's so many little things in this business. It's absurd. Next one, Subhan. This is Subhan from Pakistan. A few questions regarding Amazon. Which day is better, LLC for single member non-resident person who want to do wholesale in the U.S.? I recommend Wyoming or Delaware. Please, why explain some Texas better than Wyoming or Delaware? I mean, I don't know. I've never done research on Texas. So I'm not sure. Wyoming, Delaware is what I personally use myself. So that's what I like. There's tons of reasons you can Google to figure out there. What's MCF and why or in what circumstances better to go with MCF? MCF is multi-channel fulfillment. This is best when, say, you have products in Amazon's warehouse and then you want to sell like on a website or Shopify where you don't have to get a third-party warehouse to ship those goods to, say, a Shopify customer. You can just use a multi-channel fulfillment process with Amazon, and Amazon's warehouse will ship to your customer on Shopify. So it's nice when you're first starting out on a website to not have a second warehouse or a second shipping company to deal with, and just more logistics, right? So it's kind of a pain. Which U.S. brands easily give approvals? I don't know. I don't do wholesale, man. Let's see if you guys can see this. Next one here. Move my face again. JC is Lord. When actually do you start taking pictures of your products in the process since you don't physically have the product with you? Again, I've explained that ad nauseum by now. Let's go to the next one here. So scroll down, move my beautiful face again. Next, can you explain, this is from Max Kelly. Great headshot, by the way, Max. Good work. Can you explain best practices for separating different brands, trademarks, LLCs, legal entities, emails, banks, seller central accounts, specifically in the context of building with an exit strategy? Yeah, so if you want an exit strategy, you're going to want to separate all these. I don't recommend it at first when you're first starting out. Just like, it's really annoying to have all these things separate. Like, it weighs you down when you should be solely focusing on scaling your brands and working on it. So if it was up to me, what I'd suggest is starting with one brand, that's one company, that's one trademark, that's one email, that's one bank, and that's one seller central account. Work on building that first and make it sustainable. Like, there's no way you should be working on two brands at the same time when you're first beginning, unless you got some outside help, but then, it's a little different. Like whether it's working with like big e-commerce brands or whatever it may be, or some people have done this 100 times before. But, when you're first starting out, make that first account, everything like that. Say the first brand doesn't work, you want to pivot. Well, that's fine. It's easy. Your LLC, you create a DBA with your LLC, you get a second trademark, you use the same Seller Central account, and you get brand registered for that brand name, and then you switch your storefront name to that brand name, and it's over. It's like nothing affected at all. Your bank account says something different, but you're a DBA, you're doing business as this new brand. And so you can all keep the same thing, that one thing. As you go into your second, your third brand, I'd recommend if you want to exit, I recommend splitting that all up into different accounts, different brands, different LLCs, everything like that. That way it's a clean exit, because when you have a partial exit, like of a business that they're just buying certain parts of it, this is all from, I've never exited a business, but this is all from people I've talked to within the Amazon space, which I've gotten lucky enough to talk to a lot of people with, multi-million-dollar exits. This is, an issue. Next, Crystal Haig, is it still valuable to add some type of postcard inside your product packaging? Yes, I like to do this. If so, what's the best purpose? I like to do, one, making sure that they know where to reach out for support if they have it. So I like to make a support email with my domain of my brand name. That way there's just an always out, instead of, if they don't know where to reach out to get help, what they reach out to is a 1-star review on Amazon and then ask for a refund. Where if there's a small little issue, maybe it's missing one piece of the puzzle, one piece of the product, they can reach out to support at your brand name and then get that piece and get taken care of before that 1-star review happens. So giving them an outlet to reach out for support, clear instructions, whether that's an email or, I wish you could do this on Amazon easier, but it's really hard for a customer to figure out how to reach out to a storefront. Like, it's not intuitive at all. It's really annoying. So people reach out to Amazon, then end up getting a refund where you can, or even leaving a 1-star review, so I like to have an outlet for people to get support. I also like to have clear instructions. So this could be a separate page, whatever it may be, but clear instructions of how to use the product. So there's clear expectations. Their instructions are idiot proof. They're so easy to use. That way there's no one upset or frustrated because they don't know how to use the product, or they think it's a bad product because they're not getting the best of it. That's a 1-star review right there, right? I also like to have a QR code. This could be for some type of review incentive, which again is against TOS of Amazon. So beware of that, as well as support at adding an email there is against TOS as well. So do this with your own, risk at hand there. And then what else? A QR code could go for a review system. So some type of review funnel or system, which there's 100 ways to do that. Or it could just go for video instructions. So maybe you post a YouTube video of how to use the product properly, and you have a QR code that goes to that. That's a good idea too. Or your website, whatever it may be, depends on where you're at in the business. To get reviews, yes, you could do this, but again, do it at your own risk. There's again 100 different ways to do this. This is the hardest part of Amazon, to get reviews and create a review system through product packaging. I think everybody should be doing it, but it's one where it's like, this is kind of where it makes or breaks someone. Like, you're going to have to sit down and be creative because it depends on your product, depends on everything. You're going to have to build maybe a website, a funnel, an email system, everything like that. To direct them to your own website, YouTube, IG, yes, you can do this as well. You can, have a QR code, come follow us on IG, or put your little tags there as well. This is a great way to get people to your brand page and on social media. But again, it really depends on your product type, where your focus should be. Next, Jason, can you explain how to ship from Canada to US Amazon without crazy costs? Thanks. Again, you have to go to Google Machine, and you're going to have to get quotes from so many services and figure out the best way to do that. There's got to be a service that does this, super efficiently. There's got to be one out there. And I know I've looked into it. I know I found one, but it's again, slipping the mind. RN, is it better to ship from the manufacturer directly to the warehouse? Yes, I like to do this, but make sure you get an inspection, or to your location, then your warehouse. You could do this. I did this for my first products just because I wanted to feel my products in the hand. But when I figured out how to do inspections, quality inspections to the manufacturer, I go right to the warehouse, less logistics. How can we deal with an event SKU if shipped directly from the manufacturer, and what's the downside of shipping twice from manufacturer to location Canada and Canada to US? Yeah, so it's funny that this answers this question. So first part, how do you do with event SKU? Just make a listing and you can download the FN SKU and put it on your product packaging. Super easy, whether it's a sticker from the manufacturer or you're getting it on the product design that they'll be printed out. What's the downside for shipping twice? Crazy high cost to your margins. Just like what Jason's dealing with here. How to ship from Canada to US Amazon warehouse without crazy costs. Because you're going to go through customs again. You're going through international country. Little hint here, one international country shipment is going to be way cheaper than two. So definitely don't do that. And then, oops, you guys can't see RN. That's my bad. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, hopefully explain. So Jason asked, if you didn't see this, how to get to ship from Canada to US. RN is better to ship from manufacturer. I should probably look at your guys' comments before I do that. But anyways, RN was asking what cons about shipping to two warehouses, from Canada to US, where Jason essentially answered that already with his struggles. Spencer, next. My product is a lithium battery in it. What do I need to provide Amazon to be able to sell this? You have to go through their Hazardous program, which just lists the product. They'll take you right through it. I've looked up and found some answers, but not sure what to new about this topic. Have you sold anything that's rechargeable? At least consider Hazardous to Amazon. I actually have not. I have, but I didn't. That was a while ago, and I kind of skipped this whole thing and got around with it. But we ended up stopped selling that product because once they caught us, it was going to be bad. So I've not done this, but people, you're going to send probably pay a little bit extra in FBA fees. So keep that in mind. I would make a listing first, go through the Hazardous program and see what your FBA fees will be before you make any huge purchase at all. That's what I personally do. Move my face. Oops, that's not my face. There it is. John Clary, what is a good startup cost for a brand new and inexperienced FBA seller? About $5,000. I know you're not tax professional, but can you do a video with your understanding on sales tax, corporate tax, and income tax when running an Amazon business? I'll put it on the list. I'd have to probably take me a long time to prep for that because I'd want to do such a thorough job and have so many disclaimers. It'd be absurd. Remain Hudson, do you consider Payoneer a good platform to receive funds from Amazon? Yes. Overall thoughts on Payoneer? I like them. When, if you do think it's best to hire people to help your business grow even more, once you've learned that skill and you can outsource it personally and train someone how to do it. Otherwise, how can you hire someone and know they're doing a good job if you've not mastered that skill yourself? Where would you recommend to register my Amazon business since I'm not a U.S. seller? And also, which return address should I have? Don't have a return address. Just have all the units destroyed if you're outside the U.S. or have a warehouse if you have one there. But again, I wouldn't recommend that to begin with. How do you recommend to register my Amazon business? Just make a U.S. LLC and then use that. People do it all the time. Let's go. I got like a minute left, guys. Let's go through some of your questions. Let's see. Sorry about the background. Still figuring things out in this new office. Let's go. Let's see. Bipole Hosen, could you please explain brand registry full process? You get a trademark, you register your brand on Amazon, you get perks for that. I got tons of videos on that on YouTube. Linus, how to ship to China directly FBA. You get a freight forwarder that can help you out. Manufacturers also have shipping abilities that you can use at first. Kareem, you have to create a shipment plan on Amazon Seller Central and then send the, okay, yeah, you're just helping someone else out. Appreciate that. Oscar, having a lot of issues requesting brand approval. Any tips on how to Photoshop my product with logo? Don't Photoshop it. That's your first tip. They know when you Photoshop it. They're not dumb. Don't Photoshop. No, stop it. Go get like real packaging made or have your manufacturer make you a sample with your branding on it. They can custom since it's order. Just pay extra to get one sample made with your brand on it. Tech lovers, how to reach out to you. Facebook group is a good one. So we have a public Facebook group you can hop into and, you know, we do lives there. It's a little bit more quaint, I guess. I have people helping me, assistants helping me with like my Instagram, things like that. So if there's like, it's just like, you know, if there's questions there, they ask me and then they respond kind of as me, or they tell you where to reach out. So if you go to IG or, you know, email me, things like that, you're going to at least get somebody that's going to help you out, send you to the right place, everything like that. Tim, I'm selling an FBM. I had a sale in Canada and shipping was impossible. DHL was hard to deal with. Any good ideas to help me? Yeah. Probably don't sell in Canada unless it's FBA. You know, FBM to Canada is going to be a nightmare. I would never do that unless you have a good system figured out. Intuitive Techman, how do you find out where we can keep our Amazon inventory if we are home based and can't keep inventory at home? I'll get third-party warehouse or just, you know, just send it to the FBA warehouse too. You can use that and just when you get refunds, just have them destroy them instead of sending them back to you. Do you need a separate bus license to keep inventory in storage unit? I'm not sure. You need some help there on the ground though. I just found a third-party warehouse. Intuitive Techman, I realize it's probably a local jurisdiction thing. Yeah, I would just, there's 3PLs everywhere. Just look up 3PLs, third-party logistic companies, and start calling them and figuring that out. Nathan Jones, would you say Helium 10 is better than Jungle Scout? I don't know. I haven't used Jungle Scout since like 2017. I use Helium 10 right now. It's my favorite, but people use Jungle Scout, works fine. So I personally like Helium 10. Jungle Scout is probably a little user-friendly, but Helium 10 is a little bit more advanced, which I like. Soto Longo, have anyone here found any supplier from Bangladesh? No. Roller coaster, Royal Collars Co. You know what is a great question is anyone finding any packaging suppliers in the U.S.? So co-packers, I would look that up, and it's terrible. It's a hard process, but you know Google helped me out there when I had that issue. Can I get a meeting with you? If you get my private group, you can. We actually have a call later today in about an hour and a half with our private group members. Oscar, oh shoot, what if they sent me the sample already and didn't custom it? Then you're gonna have to get a new one, Oscar, to get through brand approval if that's what you're worried about. But that's it, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. I gotta go, but yeah, have a good time, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.